Hello, and welcome back to the channel. We're now over 1,134 days into Russia's full-scale war against Ukraine. As spring unfolds, so too does a renewed sense of urgency in Western capitals, not only to reaffirm support for Ukraine, but to directly confront Russia's refusal to engage in serious negotiations. And this time, the United States isn't just talking. It's preparing to hit where it hurts most: Russia's energy revenue. Let's break down the latest. In a rare display of unity, 50 U.S. senators, 25 Democrats, and 25 Republicans have co-sponsored a sanctions bill targeting Russia's global economic lifelines. If passed, this legislation would slap secondary sanctions on any country or company that buys Russian oil, gas, uranium, and other key exports. Why does this matter? Because it's a shot across the bow, not just at Russia, but at countries still quietly funding Putin's war machine by buying his energy. These sanctions aim to isolate Russia in much the same way Iran was, by threatening access to U.S. markets for those doing business with Moscow. Senators Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal, leading the charge, left no room for ambiguity. Russia is the aggressor. These sanctions are hard-hitting for a reason. The message is clear. No more illusions of neutrality. Either you're pressuring Russia to end this illegal war, or you're complicit. Interestingly, even voices within the Trump administration are signaling alignment. National Security Council spokesperson James Hewitt said President Trump is considering secondary sanctions if Russia keeps stonewalling ceasefire talks. That's a serious shift, considering past ambivalence. Meanwhile, Ukraine's partners in Europe are getting more assertive. Germany's Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock stood beside President Zelensky in Ukraine, while Britain and France are building what's now being called a coalition of the willing. This group is preparing to back Ukraine not only with words, but with a future multinational security presence on land, air, and sea. Think of it as NATO adjacent, but tailored to Ukraine's needs, and possibly deployable before any formal alliance commitments are settled. Here's the contradiction. President Zelensky has declared Ukraine ready for an unconditional ceasefire, especially to halt attacks on energy infrastructure. Yet the Kremlin continues to violate such truces, even as it claims Ukraine is doing the same. U.S. and European officials have privately confirmed Russia is responsible for these breaches. It's the classic Putin tactic: create confusion, muddy the waters, and stall. But the data tells a different story. According to the Institute for the Study of War, Russia's offensive has slowed for the fourth straight month. Despite mass mobilization, it appears the Russian military has hit operational fatigue. This gives Ukraine and its allies a critical window to recalibrate and counterpunch. From Warsaw to Westminster, the noose is tightening around Russian influence operations. Poland has charged a Russian-born Ukrainian man with spying for Moscow. He's one of 44 individuals arrested since the war began for espionage or sabotage. And in Britain, new laws will force anyone working with Russian authorities, even indirectly, to register with the government by July 1st, or face up to 5 years in prison. That includes anyone working with the Russian military Duma or United Russia Party. Meanwhile, in Switzerland, authorities have frozen over $8 billion in Russian assets, including real estate, cars, and luxury goods. This is more than symbolic. It's a strategic chokehold on the oligarch ecosystem that bankrolls Putin's regime. This growing wave of sanctions, military coordination, and legal crackdowns signals a new phase in the war. Western leaders are moving from supporting Ukraine reactively to proactively shaping the post-war security order. The U.S. Senate legislation, if passed, would mark a turning point by making Russia's partners accountable too. But we must be clear, sanctions alone won't stop missiles from falling on Kharkiv or Dnipro. They must be paired with continued military aid, air defense systems, and long-range weapons. Ceasefires mean nothing if they are not enforced. Putin's strategy relies on fatigue. Ours, not his. It's up to Ukraine's allies to prove him wrong. So, will this bipartisan U.S. sanctions push finally force Russia to take peace talks seriously? Or is it just another chess move in a long, brutal game? Let us know what you think in the comments. See you.